Does gear really matter? Will having the latest and greatest camera gear make you a better photographer? Should you upgrade from your entry-level camera? Should you spend a couple of grand and get something pro? Surely that will make you a better photographer. When I was putting plans together for this channel, I made the conscious decision to not talk about gear. Or to put it another way, to not talk about different camera manufacturers. Not to discuss whether Sony, Nikon, Canon, Fuji, Panasonic, Olympus. Not to discuss who's the best, who's the worst, what's got the best dynamic range, what's going to nail that shot for you. Because the honest truth is, none of it really matters. Let's talk about cookers. This may sound a bit strange, but bear with me, it will make sense. This little cooker here cost me £10 from Amazon. It's not a brilliant cooker. It's definitely not top of the range. Definitely doesn't make the job the easiest. But it works perfectly. I turn it on, a flame comes on, heat my kettle, and it makes me a decent cup of coffee. Now, the same applies to cameras. There are a lot of cameras on the market, and obviously some are far better than the other. If you pay £300 for a camera, you can't expect it to deliver the same performance as a camera which costs £3,000. I think this applies to most things in life. But the £300 camera, if you're shooting landscapes, will allow you to produce a really nice photo. And in the eyes of most people, they will not be able to tell the difference of an image shot on a £3,000 camera or £300 camera. The most important thing is the subject and the composition and the decisions you make as a photographer when actually taking that shot. So of course there are benefits to the more expensive cameras, but also do not think for a minute that your cheap camera will not deliver stunning results. So you're there probably thinking, Jason, you obviously need expensive cameras in your job. You must do. Well, here I have a copy of my first ever book, Photographing Wilderness. It's a nice hardback book. Pictures look beautiful, reproduced nice and large, all captured with a camera that cost me £250. I captured the images for this book 20 years ago using a very modest Canon EOS 35mm film camera. Cost me £250 second hand. I made the investment of I think I'd another 70 quid on a 24mm wide angle, and I bought myself a Manfrotto tripod, 70 quid if I remember correctly, and I think it was a polarising filter, was about the only other thing I bought. And I travelled, took my camera, took shots, at the time not realising they would even become a book. So all in all, the gear I used to photograph this book cost me less than 500 quid. When I first started thinking about becoming a professional photographer, I read numerous magazines and books which all suggested that if you were to be a professional photographer and be able to sell your photos, you needed medium format equipment. 35mm at the time was really just classed as the amateur consumer level system, and if you wanted to be a serious landscape photographer you needed medium format. Here's proof that you didn't. So the point here is that gear doesn't matter. Gear doesn't make you a better photographer. gear makes life easier sometimes, pretty much any camera on the market will produce superb results. So don't get wrapped up in gear. Now, it would be quite easy for me to just go and shoot some shots on the Canon EOS R now and to put them up. But perhaps that will be a bit hypocritical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out now on my bike and I'm going to take a few shots on this camera which is actually recording me at the moment, which is the Canon EOS M50. I purchased this camera recently from an online retailer. I paid £429 for it new. So I'm going to take a £429 camera, I'm going to put it on a tripod and I'm going to take shots. And I'm hopefully going to prove to you that gear really doesn't matter. So, the sun's out, I think it's time to jump on the bike. Well, hopefully you would agree that the photos I've taken today have proved that you don't need the most expensive gear in the world to take good photographs. The setup costs less than £500 and that was brand new. To be honest, virtually any camera on the market now will produce good results, and if you buy second hand then there's even more options and you can do it cheap. Photography doesn't have to be an expensive hobby. But I'll be honest, it's been very liberating using this little camera. And I haven't felt restricted by it at all, really. The only restriction I felt is with the lens. And of course that's the beauty of buying an interchangeable lens system. The fact that you can change lenses. So, I suspect for another £100 I could pick up a cheap telephoto zoom. Optically, may not be amazing, but as proved with the cooker earlier, you don't have to have the best gear to get the final result. I hope you have enjoyed this week's video. It would be great if you could press the subscribe button so that you can be notified when I next upload a video, which will be next week. See you then.